DJ, you're not wearing the same thing to school.
All right, Valerie.
We're on Facebook.
Yep.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Woo community, Facebook community. I don't see you, but I feel you. I feel you coming. If you're not present, I know you're coming. I'm just so excited this morning to be here with you on day 650, my God. I want to welcome you today to our presentation conversation, Creating Your Joy-Driven Life. Welcome, welcome, welcome all. If you have an opportunity to have a pen and paper, please do so, because we're going to be doing some work, some journaling. So if you have the tools like that, pen, paper, that's a good thing. My name is Valerie Lyons, and I'm blessed and grateful to be here. Yes, I do a lot of work around joy because I want to be present to it in my life on a regular. There's so much happening in the world that I find myself holding on to joy as a way of, as a coping mechanism. How about that? So I do a lot of work around it because I really get when you're intentional on the thing, it shows up powerfully. So again, my name is Valerie Lyons, welcoming you, Woo family, welcoming Zoom folks who are showing up on Zoom. Welcome, welcome, welcome to day 650. I'm Valerie Lyons, and I'm blessed and grateful and joyful. And really, I'm just so thrilled to be here. I'm so happy that you joined. We're gonna have a powerful conversation that really speaks to joy and how we can manifest that in our lives. So yeah, I'm just grateful that you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this morning. You know, when I say welcome, I'm so present to the fact that I'm alive. How about that? Like, we're alive. Talking about joy. So welcome, Chasey Ann and Dawn. And I know someone else is connecting on Zoom, and welcome Facebook to our conversation today on creating your joy-driven life.
Awesome. What are they going to need, Valerie?
Pen and paper.
All right.
Please, you can use your phone because we're going to be doing some work, some joyful work. And I want you to have an opportunity to really be present to joy in your life. So yes. Hi, Omena, glad you're here. Welcome, and welcome for those who are joining on Facebook. I can't see you, but I feel you. I feel you, and I'm so pleased that you're here today. My name is Valerie Lyons again, and I'm just excited and thrilled to be present, to be with you this morning. Yes, have a pen and paper, and we'll be good. Oh, Adam. My man, Adam, shows up I tell you, talk about consistency, loyalty, and presence.
Good morning, Valerie. How you doing this morning?
Adam, I'm thrilled and I'm fine. And, you know, I thought about you today because I'm like, you know what? I think Adam shows up every day.
He does. He's committed.
Oh, my God, what a commitment.
And fully participates, too.
Fully participates. And what that means to me and what I love about this community, this is a community that feeds us. And that's part of what it means to be joyful, is to acknowledge the communities, the people, the activities that feed us. So I thought about you, Adam, and it's always great to see you and everyone else who's here, you know, that's present. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Gratitude, Valerie.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you too.
Thank you, Adam. You see what I'm talking about? Don't make me break into tears. Talk about love magnified. So welcome again to everyone on Facebook. If you're joining now, welcome to Creating Your Joy-Driven Life. This is part 1. We're going to have part 2 on Sunday. So I'm thrilled that you're here. Have a pen, have paper. We're going to really be intentional about creating joy in our lives. And I'm really, really excited. So welcome, everybody.
Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Wake up, everybody. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. Stay woke, stay woke, stay woke. It's time to get up. We're healing, we're dealing, we're growing. Together, together, releasing. We're teaching, we're moving. Together, together, we're learning, discerning, we're striving. Together, together, we're leading, connecting, transforming. Together, together.
Good morning, everybody. Again, my name is Valerie Lyons, and we are going to have a wonderful conversation today. It's a training, a presentation, and a conversation on creating, creating your joy-driven life. And I mentioned earlier that I am so intentional about joy and creating it daily, and I find it to be a coping mechanism. Because I really get that if I'm tapped into my joy and relate myself as joy, that no matter what happens in my life, I can powerfully manage it. So I just wanted to introduce the training again, creating your joy-driven life, and invite you to have a pen and paper, and we are gonna get started. So we'll go with our first slide. So, the first question is, what brings you joy? I want us to really be present to what brings you joy. So if there is anyone that is willing to share what brings you joy, we can hear from folks on Facebook. You can put it in the comments, and those who are present on Zoom, please share what brings you joy. So you could start there. Chantel, you can take that slide down, because I'm going to share. I'll share first. Okay, so I'm going to share first. And I want you, those who are here, to think about, really be present to what brings you joy. One of the things that really brings me joy is being with like-minded folks who are seekers, who are interested in expanding their lives, who are willing to take risks or do things that they're maybe afraid to do, but they do it anyway. Yeah, I really find joy in transformation and being in transformational spaces, right? So anyone else want to share just one thing that brings you joy?
I can also model one thing that brings me joy. Yes, like Omena said, sunny days definitely bring me joy. And having more flexibility in my schedule now, since I've transitioned to fully working from home, having that flexibility to be in and out if I need to and see family when I want to. I can work from grandma's house, although she doesn't get the concept of I'm still working, even though I work from
Right.
home. But just being in her presence more often now, so that flexibility to be around the people I love more so. I love that. That brings me joy. And number one, being able to work from Starbucks, something about it, it just puts me in the zone, makes me comfortable, and that's my go-to place, and that brings me joy too.
I hear you. Thank you, Chantel. Okay, I don't know if anyone else wanted to share.
Yeah,
Something.
we have something from Omena.
Okay.
You want to read it, Omena?
Yeah, I'll share you all. I'm sorry I'm not on camera. I'm really sleepy today, but I
Okay.
wanted to be here. So I said sunny days really bring me joy, like really being out in the sun, being in nature. It just feeds my soul, smelling fresh air, being near water, and like you, Valerie, being around my tribe, like, around like-minded people. I love spending quality time with my people, building, laughing. I just had a girlfriend who came into town and we had so much fun and so many laughs. So he does fill my spirit in my cup.
Yes, thank you for sharing, Amanda.
Awesome. And we have Dawn who says same, being with like-minded people, laughter, flowers, and being with family. And then we have Abimbola with her hand up.
Oh, peace. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What brings me joy is spending quality time with my family, but especially I have two wonderful grandsons,
Boy.
and that brings me so much joy. And then I have four sisters, and when we get together, we have a good time. But I just came off of a 5-day vacation with my daughter and my grandsons in Florida, and I am fully charged for months. I am so happy. I have so much to talk about, so many fond memories, and I just give thanks that I've had the health and the strength to be able to hang with them.
Yes, yes,
So that's what
yes,
brings
yes.
me joy.
That's
Peace.
beautiful. It's beautiful.
And then Z says playing with her grandkids is one of the things that brings her joy.
Yes, yes. And what Evan Bola just shared about being fully charged. That's what's up. And when we really tap into the things that bring us joy, laughter, I love laughing and I laugh every single day. I make it a point to laugh every single day, being around like-minded people, being around our family, grandkids, being around nature. The other day, because I live in Harlem, the other day I walked to Central Park. I took my sandals off and I put my feet in the grass. And I'm telling you, it brought me so much joy to be in the earth. And I took a wonderful picture of me. And it was just beautiful because when I put my feet in the grass, I felt a sense of joy and source energy. And it also took me back to when I was a child. I grew up in Hollis, Queens, and we had a home in Hollis, Queens, and I'd always be in the grass. So those are the things, like we want to be present to these things, right? Because these are our go-tos when we are feeling a particular way, when we are feeling joyless. Those are the things we want to go to. And it's okay sometimes also to be present to where joy is missing. We're going to talk about that. I think, that's our next slide. To really be present to when joy is missing, when joy is present in our lives, and when joy is present in our lives, to really hone into it, like really be intentional about acknowledging, I'm joyful right now. Right about now. This is I'm in my my joy zone. Just made that up. I gotta write that down. Joy zone, right? And when it's missing, it's also important to note, why is it missing? What's happening here? What am I present to right now that has joy missing? So I guess that's our next question. That's our next slide. Where is joy present in your life? And where is it missing? We just had a conversation around what brings us joy. So we have a sense of where it's present. Where is joy missing? That I'd like to have a conversation about. If people, and we can take that slide down too, if folks can share, where is joy missing in your life? And on Facebook, I don't know whether we have anyone on Facebook that's present, but just wanted to invite you, if you're present, where is joy present and where is it missing? Anyone have anything to share with that?
So Amena said for her, it's missing in her intimate relationship and finances.
Okay, I'm gonna come back to that. Thank you, Amanda.
Yeah, and then we have Rachel with her hand up. Rachel, did you want to come on? Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with Omena actually. So, yeah, I would agree with Omena. So
And
that's
yeah,
kind of where I was going with it. Yes.
all right, we got two intimate relationships and finances that it's missing, right? And we want to talk we're going to talk a little bit about that. Thank you, Rachel, and thank you, Amena. Anyone else want to share? Because I want to share intimate relationships. I'll start there. You know, so I am going through a separation with my partner. And what I really got was, although there are aspects of our relationships that bring me great joy, there are aspects of the relationships that don't. And I think that can be very complex for us when we're with somebody and there are things about them that we really enjoy, and there are things about them that are missing. And we have to get honest with ourselves, right? Are the things that are joyful, do those really, are the things that are missing, do those outweigh the things that are joyful? And that's what I am grappling with, but I really kind of know the answer. Right, because that's the one area of my life that is not fully joyful. Because you can be fully joyful and have issues and have disagreements. There's a difference. So when Rachel and Amena, when you talked about your intimate relationships and that joy was missing, what is it that you're seeking an intimate relationship, or are you in a relationship and you're sort of questioning?
I can say I have to take accountability. I truly do. A lot of that has to do with how I think sometimes. And because I still haven't, I have yet, and this is a true story, I have yet to go on a real vacation, like away with an intimate partner. And I'm in a relationship now. However, I'm so committed to certain other things that bring me joy that it's hard for me to prioritize.
All right.
Yes, that's
Okay.
my problem.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
You
So
know,
look at survival too. Yeah.
let me say this to you. And this is something I learned recently, it is very important for us to make sure that we are making our relationships a priority, because these relationships need to be nurtured. And for women or individuals who have multi-purposed lives, got a lot going on. And I know you two got a lot going on. You got a lot going on and you're managing. I'll tell you this, don't forget your relationship is as important as anything else that you're doing. I'll say you are most important than anything, you. But your relationship with your partner, if you love your partner and you find value in that relationship, do not minimize. And I've done this is why I'm speaking from my own personal experience. Don't minimize that. And I'll say to you, because this is I'm a clinician, by the way, but this is my clinical response. Get over yourself. How about that for clinical advice? Get over yourself and see what's present in your life, because that is a unique experience to have an intimate partner who you love, who loves you, that gives and you give. Don't get it twisted. Important. Okay. Now Amena has a don't miss that. Don't miss it on that opportunity, honey.
I had to come on camera. I said, y'all, I'm looking real tired, but guess
You're looking
what?
beautiful. I'm serious.
That woke me up.
That woke you up good. Shoot.
Yeah, we're actually having a therapy session today. I get triggered, and I had a heart-to-heart with him the other day. We are both bringing our little boy and little girl an unhealed trauma and our friction. And I know it's there. I've done a lot of healing on it. I thought I was over certain things until getting in this relationship. And I'm like, why am I triggered? And what is it? What is it that makes me respond the way I do when I'm triggered? So I did the what and the why. And the why is my dad, I was very close to my dad up until 12, and he just really stopped talking to me. So not even just in this intimate relationship with him, but with my children or anyone, if somebody walks away from me, if somebody ignores me, if somebody acts like, oh, I didn't hear you, I am fully triggered because it's the abandonment. Like my dad abandoned me, but was in the household and would not speak to me. And he did the same thing to my mom, when they got into arguments. And I did this yesterday, like on the line. I really realized that it's like with Omari and Andrew yesterday, like, oh, my dad used to do the same thing Kenny does to me when he's upset. We just recently, I had to come to him. He spent 4 days because he was upset about me having this heart to heart with him and did not speak to me for 4 days in my house here. I'm like, that's unacceptable because that's what doesn't bring joy. That scares me. It's like, you can be upset with me. I don't think I did anything worth you not talking to me. I don't want a partner like that you could get that upset because I'm explaining to you, I am okay. Yes, I got to work and get over myself too, Valerie, with this idea of dishes. I can't stand that people do the dishes and they leave them on a countertop. And I've asked multiple times. It's a little OCD things. Like, so those things trigger me. The leaving things plugged in, and my girlfriend said to me, are you crazy? Like, there are women who are like getting abused, and at least he does the dishes. I'm like, yeah, but he does them on his own term. And I've asked multiple times, there's a reason why. I've explained why. You leave the dishes on a granite countertop. If something gets knocked over or broken, I know my propensity and I'm not going to be cool. Like, okay, that was a mistake. I'm going to go off. I'm trying to work on that, but I'm going to go off because I asked multiple times, please put the dish away. It might seem simple to somebody, but to me, it's like, so I do it and I'm constantly doing it. But it goes back to not feeling heard. You are not hearing me. You are purposely leaving the dish on the countertop because I've asked you to put things away, unplug. It's crazy, I know, but so that's one of the things, and me being on top of him, and then me coming back and apologizing to him because I had to come back and I had to humble myself. And it was not easy to admit that, wow, I understand where you're coming from and I'm sorry. You don't deserve that. And this is why I'm coming from where I'm coming from, because I've never felt secure or protected by the male energy. And I didn't grow up with my older brother and I didn't grow up with grandfathers. So here's what's going on. And I'm sorry, I apologize. But yeah, so we have a therapy session today.
Well,
Let's see.
Let me tell you something. You said a lot. And what I heard you, no, seriously, no, but what I'm going to say this, what I heard you really say, and I hope that people heard this in Omena's share, being present to your triggers, being present to what doesn't bring you joy, and seeking support. Because a lot of the stuff that you mentioned, you actually said it. It's all childhood trauma. A lot of how we operate comes from our past, comes from our history. What's important is for us to be present to how we are reacting and responding to situations, and then really getting clear for ourselves, what kind of life do I want to have? Do I want to be reacting? Everyone has idiosyncrasies, has preferences as to how they want their house, how they want to hold their home or have their home, But it's also being mindful of how your reactions have an impact on other people. What can you, and so I wasn't going to read the chat, but I saw this show up, choosing your battles, right? So getting the support therapy, great that you're there. You're doing what needs to be done. It's when we sweep things under a rug, make believe that they're not present, that it then snowballs into something that is totally unmanageable. So I'm really, really grateful that you're doing the work. So check this out. Being joyful, sometimes there's a little work involved. And it doesn't mean work as in hard, but that there's some actions to take, right? And you're doing what you can to support and nurture your relationship. So thank you so much, Amanda, for being on camera. I said, looking beautiful because you got the glow. I see that. And everyone else does. So don't get it twisted. And thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Yes, there's some coaching up in this piece. So, yes. Breathing also makes a difference. Can we take a deep breath together? Just one deep breath. Yes, okay.
Rachel had her hand raised. Rachel, did you still want to speak?
Yeah, really quick. As far as triggers are concerned, Amanda, I was like right there with you. My abandonment issues are like serious. And I don't say was serious, are serious, right? And I realized that the way I responded to the moment that that person needed to step away from the conversation destroyed a lot of relationships that I had, because my response to the feeling of being abandoned was extreme, right? So I had to learn to allow somebody to take a moment, even if it didn't feel good, because I'm learning till to this day that sometimes processing information takes longer for men for whatever reason than it does for for women. And I could process something immediately and have a response and actually hear what you said and actually be able to apply the change. It takes longer for men, I think. And for me personally, what I experienced from my abandonment issues was I made situations worse because I didn't allow that person to be their self when I was being myself. And I was like, you know what? I have to be in a space where I'm not allowing somebody's way of processing, not saying it's healthy, not saying it's right, but the way I'm responding to it is making it 10 times worse.
Yes, being aware of ourselves. It's so important in our relationships not to make ourselves wrong, but to be aware of our reactions. Because oftentimes we can get caught up in the other person. What is the other person doing? What are they saying? How are they being? And we neglect to look at ourselves. That's where the work is. And check this out. I firmly believe that the more we transform who we're being and really tap into our higher self, things around us change. We don't have to fix or change anybody. We don't have to fix or change ourselves. It's tapping into who we really are, our higher self. And if you think about when you're in an interaction or have a conflict, if you think about how would my higher self respond to that? Let me tell you something. It's different than how you would. Your spirit's, your soul spirit, because your soul spirit is doesn't have to worry about forgiveness. It's present. Your soul spirit's not talking about being right. That's just the way your higher self doesn't have all those trappings. So when we tap into who we really are, we can transform everything around us. I so believe it. So let's keep on doing the work and going inward. That's where you find joy. That's another thing. You find joy within. Happiness is something else. We'll talk about that in a hot second. We find joy within. So let's continue to do the work to tap to our inner higher self and really be present to the triggers, be present to our reactions. We're all human. We've all gone through some form of trauma. I don't know anyone who has not experienced a form of trauma in their lives, particularly in their childhood. So let's give ourselves grace. Another gift of being joyful is the ability to give yourself grace, and let's keep it moving.
Valerie,
Yes.
you mentioned something about higher self and tapping into your higher self and how your higher self will respond. And how would you advise us where would you even tell us to start to find that higher self?
Yeah, thank you. First step is to be still. You know, it takes a minute to get away from the chatter in your head. I find reading empowering material. And let me tell you about this book. If you haven't read it, this book is, to me, where is it? Is it nearby? It might be in my book, my knapsack. Ask and it will be given. Ask and it will be given. Esther and Jerry Hicks. Woo! Yeah, being guided helps me tap into my higher self, and material reading, empowering literature like that book, which I highly recommend, being in empowering circles like the one we're in for those of us who are in that facilitator training, because the messages that you're getting are all aligned with your source. You know that the messages are aligned with your source when you feel a sense of joy and peace. So being mindful and being present to what brings you joy has you tap into your higher self. And what I do is when I tap into my higher self through reading empowering material, being in nature, somebody mentioned being in nature, being near the water, being in the water or being near the water, even when I take my shower, having that water hit me, or being in a bath. These are all actions or activities that you can engage in that have you tap, because you're still in your quiet, and then you start to ask questions. Now listen, when you ask questions, you got to listen and you got to follow, because you know the answer. Many of us ask questions that we know the answer to, by the way. Just we say we're asking for clarity. Guess what we're asking for? Courage. You say you're asking for clarity, but truth be told, you're asking for courage, because you know daggone well what to do. So it's being true to yourself. When you're tapping into your higher self, you're being true to yourself. And in asking it will be given, this is what the message is, and many of us have heard it. When you make a request, it is done, done, and done. The universe is going to give you what you want, because the universe is aligned with your well-being. The third step is allowing. That's when we want to get out of the way, because if we ask for what we want and we believe that it is given because the universe is aligned with our well-being, then we need to let go and give up the anger, the fear, the resentment about the thing, right? And when we allow, the floodgates open. And I know that there are people that are present here on Zoom, or if you're on Facebook, you know exactly what I'm talking about. When you've asked, when it has been given, and when you've allowed and you've seen your life transform in ways that you never thought that would happen. I hope I answered your question.
That and more. I wrote all the directions of finding my higher self. Thank you so much.
You're
We hear that
welcome.
often, but don't know where to start. So thank you so much.
Yes. Getting out of the way is the big one. All right. Anyone else have anything to share before we move on?
Hi, this is Dawn. Good morning.
Good
Good
morning.
morning.
This is Dawn.
Hey, Dawn.
I just wrote, I'm stuck on the asking. And I said, this is great for me today because I don't know why I can't ask for things.
That's, let me say this to you, Dawn. A lot of us have a challenge. And when you say ask for things, I don't know if you're speaking specifically about asking for support, which is a thing that many of us are hesitant to do because we feel we need to do it on our own, or whether you're talking about just making requests, asking for what it is that you want.
Not support, what it is that I want, like dreams, goals, aspiration,
Okay. Dawn,
things of the universe. You
okay.
said ask and it will be given.
Yes.
I'm not even at the point where I can ask for things. I believe it has to do with deservingness. And you talk about the childhood trauma. And I
Yes.
believe a lot of it goes back to that. So if I can quantify it, that's what I mean.
I understand. Now, Dawn, I want to ask you something.
Hmm.
Would you be willing right now to ask for something that you want?
That's the thing. I don't know what I want.
Okay, so that's the whole thing. Okay, so what I will say to you, Dawn, is this. I don't want to say, because we don't know each other like that. I
Right.
don't want to say I don't believe you, but I will say that you have not given yourself an opportunity to tap into who you really are.
Yes, ma'am.
And that almost brings me to tears, I tell you the truth. Because at the very least, most of us want to be happy. Dawn,
Mhm.
you want to be happy?
Yes.
Yes. At the very least, most of us want to be happy. At the very least, most of us want to be healthy. Dawn, you want to be healthy?
Yes.
Yes. At the very least, most of us want to be productive. We want to feel like we're making a contribution to others. Dawn, do you want to make a contribution to others?
Yes.
Yes, you do. Most of us want to feel like we're in relationships, whether it's romantic or friends or family. We want to feel like we're in relationships that are nurturing, that are loving, that are joyful, that are uplifting. Dawn, do you want that?
Yes.
Yes, you do. So you know what you want, child. You want to allow yourself to ask for those things because you want those things and more. You want those things and more. So it's, Dawn, you are worthy. You are wonderful. You are perfect, just as you are. And what makes a difference is when we find ourselves in circles where we get those messages, because one of the things I learned in a program that I participated in some time ago, Landmark Education, that we show up in the listening of others. That's why we want to be careful who we surround ourselves with. We show up in the listening, we arise, that is it. We arise in the listening of others. When you're in loving and empowerment environments, you show up as loving and empowering. People see you, they see you. They see who you really are. Dawn, are you involved or in well, this is an empowering circle, so clearly you're in a tribe of supporting loving people.
Oh, yeah.
People
Oh,
coming
Mena's my
back.
girl.
Who's your girl?
Oh, Mena.
Oh, man, is your girl. Well, you're in good company. I'll say, listen, I'm your girl too. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
Now you are.
It doesn't take a lot. We think it takes a lot to make connections and to make friends. It really doesn't. All it takes is a willingness to love somebody, a willingness to see how connected we really are. Whether you're lifelong friends or you're friends for a minute, it doesn't matter. Thank you so much, Dawn, for sharing. And I hope that you have a place to start. How about that?
Yes, I do. And thank you. I
Very
am in the midst of my healing a lot of trauma from my past. So
You are.
this is right on time. So thank you. And it took a lot for me to speak this morning, but I had the courage to go ahead and do it because I want to see the change.
Dawn, this is what you call manifestation right before your very eyes. Get chills. You are a demonstration of a manifestation, and I got chills.
Okay.
Because you said you had took the courage, and you said this was
Yeah.
right on time. So you've been calling this forth.
Yes.
Power of your word. Ah, all right.
You
Thank
came
you
off
all.
mute. You came off mute for a reason. Hope you got what you needed.
Yes, I did. Thank
So
you
happy.
all. Thank you
So
for the
happy.
support.
You're welcome.
And we had one more hand, Xavier. Can you come off mute?
Good morning, Rule family. I
Good
did
morning.
hear some of the things I was going to add, but I just wanted to say, first, shout out to Dawn. She sort of lived out what Valerie was speaking of when she says some of the things that you ask for, you know the answer to. And so what I heard Valerie saying was, I mean, not Valerie, Dawn saying was, I don't know how to ask. I don't know why I can't ask. And here she is on Zoom asking. And so the answer to her question was, I just have to do it. I just have to practice it. I just have to try it. And so I just appreciate being able to sort of see in action the session sort of live itself out. And that was a great example. And I mean, it also ties to what Omena was saying, how childhood trauma really informs and influences not just how we behave, but what we respond to, even when we're responding to ourselves. And when you think about as a child, you go into the store, at least in my family, you go in the store. It's one thing my mom always said: don't ask for shit, don't look at shit, blah 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 blah. So I'm always being told, don't ask, don't ask, don't ask, don't ask. And the things that as a child we know to ask for are things that bring pleasure. Can I have a piece of candy? Or can I have $1 to go to the store? Or can I have? And so that's very different if you have a child that is asking for, can I have $10 to invest in this? Can I have to? That child is more likely to grow up with the mind asking on things that are higher than pleasure. That child is probably more likely to not pursue things just for and only pleasure. So the childhood trauma and how we've developed in those really impactful years really informs how we respond. And so asking is something that maybe struggle because we didn't ask for the right things or ask for enough things as children. So I just wanted to come in and say my piece for that. So thank you.
Wow. Xavier, thank you so much for that share.
And thank you for the support.
Yeah, you also thank for the support, Xavier. That was really beautiful what you shared, and it really, again, spoke to how our past can inform our future if we are not, and it's a blind spot often, which is also challenging because we don't even see it, but that we're willing to tap into our higher self, we're willing to tap into our joy and to see what we can do to create a more joyful life. But it really takes work and often therapy, coaching, being in these circles. You see how therapeutic the circle is? It's amazing. You know, being willing to connect with others is how we get this. The blind spot is uncovered through the sharing, willingness to share. So thank you so much. Wow. Okay. I don't know if anything's happening on Facebook, if anyone is present on Facebook. I'm just checking in, but I hope you're in the conversation if you're present. I hope you're thinking about it, journaling. Yeah, and doing your own self-assessment. That's another thing, our own willingness to self-assess and self-evaluate. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Where are we? So how do you create joy? So we're going to talk about some of these things, some of these ways, and there's more. So one is to source it. One is to source it. How do you create joy is to source it. What do you, and you know, we kind of talked about this. We've been talking about sourcing joy. This has been part of the conversation. So you can take the slide down. Let me just see if anyone has anything to say about that. How do you source joy?
I would say from creating it from within, like just having whatever space you're in, allowing yourself to be present and emotionally available. Because for me, emotional availability allows joy.
Yes, excellent, Rachel. And that's what we talked about, being present. You're sourcing it from being present, being mindful. You can create it inside of being mindful, being still, and listening. Listening to where joy is present in your life. Because it's in the small things, oftentimes, that we miss, you know, and the big things. I mean, I sit here in Harlem in an apartment with a terrace, right? With a doorman. I didn't even ask for that. You know what I asked for? Home as sanctuary. I asked for home as sanctuary. And boy, was it given. And so when I look around this apartment, that brings me joy right off the bat, because I know I didn't even coming from, listen, any Queens folk in the house? Folks from Queens don't come to Harlem. Don't come to the city, as we say. Folks from Queens tend to go to New Jersey, Connecticut, upstate, or Long Island. That's just culturally, because the city is seen, for me, it was like, it's so intense. I ended up in the heart of Harlem in Lenox Terrace. And I love it. But it's so, I'm so present to the joy. So you're right, being mindful, being still, tapping in, the small things, the big things. Are other people putting in the chat?
Yeah.
Chantel?
I wanted to add something to what Rachel was just saying.
Yes.
And it's something I'm sort of massaging through mentally as I'm talking. So forgive me if it's not all clear. But I feel like there are certain things where questions are the answers, where if we can find the right question for ourselves, or we can find the right question to ask in the session, that's what's going to lead to our most immediate change. But speaking about so I say that to say the question you asked about what is the source of your joy, me believing that happiness is a choice helped me to understand the question you asked differently. So what it now makes me believe is that I believe joy may be something that's more inherent, that is in us, whether you are a hateful person or the nicest person in the world. Joy may be that thing that is inherently in us, and happiness is that choice that we make to access that joy and live it out through our lives. So, for example, if I do feel that I'm not in a happy space in my life, and you had a family member pass away, there may be a relic or an artifact or something that I hold to remind me of this family member, and that can bring me joy. Now, is that my source of joy? I don't know. But have I made a choice to consciously do something to bring out that happiness even for a moment? Yes. So it's interesting having this conversation, because it's really informing how I view happiness versus joy and the source of where it comes from, whether it's temporal or whether it's permanent, or whether we're born with it, or whether it's something that you learn or just have. So.
Wow, you had me thinking. And that's what this is about. No right or wrong answers. How about that? It's how it shows up for you. But that was very provocative what you just shared, because I thought about the losing of somebody and the artifact and the happiness and the joy. And what I could say for myself is the joy. I do believe joy is inherent. I do. I do believe that I believe that it is. Because I do believe that it's that artifact that taps into. It's deeper than the happiness when you have a loved one and you have an artifact. It goes deeper than being happy. It goes back to what that person represented to you, how that person showed up in your life, the difference that person made in your life, and the difference that how your life transformed as a result of that relationship has me thinking that taps into the joy that you experience. Like that joy is cultivated. It's innate. And it's cultivated over time. And it has more to do with what's happening internally than, like you referenced, externally, because stuff is going to go down on a regular externally. Thank you, Xavier. We've been thinking about what you just said.
Awesome.
I have a question. What comes up for me right now, what I'm thinking of being source, right? Could that be a disservice for us, because that makes us settle for something less, finding joy in everything? Because me finding joy in the smaller things makes me not say yes to the bigger things, if that makes sense.
Let me say, Rachel, you know what you're speaking, you know what you're speaking to?
Right on Garden Street.
We gotta know ourselves. We gotta know, that's why there's no right or wrong to this thing. We have to know ourselves and know what works and what doesn't work. And so if finding joy in everything to you has you so, and what I'm hearing, kind of distracted, because it has you being a little maybe scattered and maybe not being able to prioritize the thing, then you got to do what's right for you, child. All I'm saying is that I see you driving a car and I say to you, That's some joy up in that piece. The ability to know how to drive. Now let's start there. That is one of the biggest gifts that you can give yourself, to learn how to drive, because with that, there's a sense of freedom to be able to afford a car. How about that? Come on now. So I don't find those things, I don't find those things to be distracting, because it just affirms, and I know you don't either, I see your head shaking, it affirms how blessed we are. When we really get how blessed we are, by the way, there's some joy inside of that. Anybody who's working, generating an income in a pandemic, shit. Oh, joy, because we know that people that lost their jobs, having difficulty finding employment, even though that that it's said that there's plenty of jobs available. Anyway, I know somebody has their hand raised.
Oh, where'd you go, Dakia? Dakia, do you still wanna? Oh, there you are. You can come off.
Hi, yes. I just wanted to say,
Oh, I think your internet
Sorry,
is going in and
Takia,
out.
your service, yeah, we can't hear you, unfortunately. I'd love to.
this whole conversation or joy or happiness, how sometimes it's stagnant, and that's me. Like, I feel like I'm the most confused person. I be getting mad at myself. Like, girl, do you want to be happy today or not?
Okay, you're breaking up, but I want to tell you one thing. And that was who was that?
Dakia.
Are you settling because you're happy that? Yes,
She's going in and out. Okay, Dakia, you're going in and out. Try it one
Takia,
more
you're going
time.
in and out, unfortunately, but I'll tell you one thing I would offer to you, Takia. I would offer this to you. Stop saying you're confused. Stop creating yourself as confused, because then you really become confused. The power of your word is no joke. If you want to say, I seek clarity.
Yeah.
If you want to say that, say that.
Okay.
All right, honey, because
yeah,
I don't believe you're confused. I don't believe you're confused. Well, I'm certainly not going to create you as confused. What happens when we create ourselves as confused? Let me just ask that question. When we create ourselves as being confused, what happens?
Confusion.
Absolutely confusion. We're calling confusion. Listen, I say I'm confused. Universe says you confused. All right, I'm gonna show you some confusion up in this piece. Because the universe is a stand for your word. That's why you want to be aware of what you say. Universe don't know right or wrong. Universe says, I hear that. Okay, I'm gonna give it to them, or give it to them. Right? So we want to create ourselves as seeking clarity. You might even say, I am clear. I am clear. And I seek to hear. How about that? I am clear. I seek to hear.
Yes, let me write that down, because I'm telling you, I used to make decisions quick and I never second guess myself. Now, no, I am clear and I seek. What was the last thing
and
you said?
I seek to hear.
I am clear and I seek to hear.
And
Yes.
then we want to allow, with no fear, judgment, criticism, anger, frustration, we want to give that up so that we can really hear.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and this falls right in line with what Catherine said earlier. The universe is always listening and responding to us, even when things are unspoken. Our low vibrational thoughts and intentions are being answered as well. This is why it's important to develop a practice of speaking and asking for what we want.
Yeah, and I have to share this, and I'm a crier, and I'm okay, but I just have to share this with you. You know, I mentioned earlier that I'm in transition in this relationship, and this is someone I really love, but someone who there's someone who's really not for me. Do you know the minute that I really said, okay, Val, out, don't. If I told you it was at that point that many of the things that I had been asking for have just been being thrown at me. I'm getting more business. I have my own business. I provide career empowerment services. My target audience is working in the women of the 50 plus age range, represent. I've had more people contact me for coaching in the last week than I have in the last 2 months. I'm not seeking. They're seeking me. I'm saying when you get some things out of the way that you know you don't need in your life because they don't bring you joy. And I love this person. And like I said, there's some things I love about the relationship, but ultimately not so much. When you move things out of the way, it creates a space for other things to show up powerfully. So we want to make sure that we're taking a personal inventory to determine who's in our lives that's bringing us joy, what's in our life that's bringing us joy, who's in our life that's not bringing us joy, what's in our life that's not bringing us joy. Get some coaching, counseling, therapy, a therapeutic environment, and sort yourself out. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen. I'm still grappling with this, by the way. I am still grappling with transitioning out of a relationship. I don't say I broke up, I say I'm breaking up. We're breaking up.
It's important that you share that. It's kind of like when we were on with Omena, and I said coaches need coaches, and we're people, and you are not perfect, and you have all of this advice, you have all of this knowledge, and you still need to evaluate, show yourself grace, and do the same things.
Right. And I say I am perfect inside of my imperfections. That's what I say. And I believe I have a coach, I have 2 coaches and a therapist. I'm not playing. And I realized with therapy, for those who may question therapy, you don't have to be in crisis to have a therapist. Matter of fact, the reason I went into therapy is because I wanted to transform how I show up powerfully in my relationship, in my romantic relationships with men. That's why I chose to be in therapy. And every day, it's not like it's a crisis, but sure enough, I know something's going to go down, and it may not have anything to do with men. It may just be something in my life that I want to manage. And having a therapist is like maintenance, joyful maintenance. So just wanted to share that. Okay, anyone else have anything to share?
Yes, this is Teresa Scott.
Hey, Teresa.
I came on late, but y'all been seeing some really powerful stuff. And the thing that I've been getting out of this whole conversation and what's happening in my life is that, let me turn my camera on. I don't know, maybe look this all right. When I show up as my original self and just be who Teresa Scott is called to be, I'm good. And my issue was that I was so busy trying to, I'm learning that that's a behavior of always trying to like go along with people because like I have a sense of belonging. But like you said, when you be in crowds that empower you, then you get empowered. And that's something that I really got to look at. Like I was outside last night with my neighbors and I got so aggravated and frustrated. And I realized is that they wasn't saying empowered things. So I was vexed and I was like, my friend, she had came over to visit, her and her husband came over. We were sitting outside on the bench and she started saying some stuff and I started telling her, I was like, what the hell you saying that for? Like, cut that shit out. Stop saying that craziness about the people over here. You know nothing about them. You just talking, you getting involved with the conversation. So I called her back, and I said, and I told her, I said, it was talking about this young lady who came out, she wasn't dressed. She was, she was showing like her body, whatever. But she's a young little girl. And I said, do you know what? I said, she's me. She's me. I was showing my body because I had been raped and molested for years. And I was showing my body because I wanted someone to tell me that I was beautiful. So I
I showed my body off too much, but that's what I wanted. I mean, and I don't know if she's been raped or molested, but the point of it is that she's a young girl, and she was dressed very provocative, but they were talking about her, and it just made me angry because that's me. Instead of us trying to figure out what's wrong with, like, why is a person her age out there, like dressed so provocative like this? Talk to the girl, and I know, and I was really surprised to see her like that because I know, how her grandmother, her grandmother is, and so, but they was just talking about her like a dog, and I got so angry, and so I was like, God, I got to go upstairs now because I'm getting attitude, and I'm not operating in love, and so when I got upstairs and I realized is that when you try to be in places that's not comfortable for you, another part of you shows up that's not always
Yeah.
healthy for you. So I'm learning is that be in places where you are loved.
Mm,
And
mm,
what I should have done was got up and walked out, but I hadn't been outside in such a long time. And I was just trying to enjoy the sun and have a good time. But when I did leave, I was so frustrated by that time. So what it said to me, Teresa, when you are out there and it's getting uncomfortable, get up and leave. You don't have to stay there. But it was a lesson for me to see. And it showed me where I came from and how I can bring a healing to someone because that little girl was me. I was out in the street with all tight clothes and all of that stuff. And I was a young girl doing the same thing she was doing. And here they are, leaders in the community, dogging her. And so if we don't make sure that we are in, sometimes we can see ourselves and see where we came from.
mm.
And I know that I'm a teacher, and so I gotta make it my business to go outside or even go upstairs and go and talk to her and just ask her, hey baby, like what's going on? It's like what's going on? Like how are you? I don't got even know business. How are you? I haven't seen you in a long time, but the point of it is that we don't know what walks of life the people coming from, and we're so quick to judge. Oh, look at her, look how she look what he's doing. It doesn't matter what they're doing. Is that sometimes we might see someone who reminds of us, and if I don't say anything, let's just walk in love. Let's not judge one another so much because people are hurting out here, and we have a chance to bring healing to each other, but sometimes we can get caught up in the crowd and miss the opportunity to heal. And so I felt good that I was able to tell my friend, and I didn't really care at that particular moment if she got upset about it because I just felt like, why are you going along with this? And you don't even know nothing about this young lady, and yet you're talking about her. And I was like, Teresa, it's time to move. It's time to move out of here and get into an environment that empowers you because you've been here for years and you've been trying to stay, but you can't stay here no longer. You cannot stay here longer. And so I said, Teresa, it's time for you to pack up and find you a new place to live at because this place is no longer become a place of empowerment. And you can always still come back here and empower, but you don't have to be here to do it. And so that's something that I've said to other people that if we would have left and then come back, we would not get stuck in whatever, the negative and thing, but you can always come back. And I can still continue to do the work that I do in the community, whether I'm here or not. So I just want to tell you, thank you for this conversation because now that I'm operating in me and loving on me and seeing empowerment conversations that healing is taking place. Healing is just coming speedily. It's like I'm not giving into whatever's happening to stop my healing. And I just love y'all and I appreciate just for y'all listening. And I'm
Thank you,
complete.
Teresa.
Girl, girl. Let me summarize the themes I heard in your share. Woo! Number one, let's be clear around who we're surrounding ourselves with and disengage when we do not feel empowered. When we see someone that shows up as someone who we want to criticize, that's me. If we really get that we're connected, that's me. That person I see on the street that is talking out of their head and shabbily dressed, that's me. Because we're connected. So rather than condemn, can we show compassion? Rather than judge, can we show love? This is what I heard. Self-care and being intentional about what brings us joy brings forth healing. That's where the healing starts. Because we're clear on, or we're getting clear on our triggers. We're getting clear on the things that don't bring us joy. We're getting clear on we're worthy, we're valuable, we're a contribution. That's where the healing starts. And that's what creates an opening for amazing things to show up, because some of us have amazing things show up and we're not even present to it because we're so caught up in our heads, in the self-criticism, being self-critical, being judgmental, living in the pain and the trauma, that we can't even see the beauty, because that's what's happening. And that's what happens for us as human beings. That's why we want to seek help and support and be in environments of empowerment. My God, Teresa, you getting up on out of there when you're in an environment that doesn't serve you well. Exiting stage left. All right.
This has been such a powerful hour already. We've gotten so much in an hour. And Valerie, do you want to thank our guests for being on so far?
Good. Thank you all for being in this powerful conversation. This is what you call sourcing joy, by the way. Sourcing contribution. Thank you all for being present. So I know that some of you have to leave. I'm going to be doing a part 2 on Sunday. So I'll be reviewing some of what we discussed today and then picking up some new concepts for us to explore. So thank you so much for being here. And I mentioned too, can I mention what am I offering to those who may have to leave?
Yes, ma'am. And I'm going to drop it in the chat for you too.
For those who email me at valjlyons@gmail.com, I'm going to send you some joyful practices that I use on a regular. And I have to remind myself to use, and that's why I created this list, because I want to be on top of my game when it comes to joy. So for those who email me at valjlyons@gmail.com, you're going to get my joyful practices. And I hope that it makes a difference for you, because it makes a difference for me.
Awesome. So you want us to keep going?
Thank you.
Coach?
Thank you. Come back on Sunday if you can. I know Adam has his hand raised.
Come off, Adam.
Okay. Good morning, Valerie.
Good morning, Adam.
I just want to piggyback what Teresa said. I just want to say that the reason that people would judge you, consistently is because that they're living in a toxic relationship with themselves, and a lot of them may want what they have, but they don't know how to get it themselves. So I just want to say that the people who judge every day are the ones who are very insecure with themselves. And she also pointed out that we don't know how to disagree gracefully. So consequently, we would go out and disrespect other people, even though we disagree with them, instead of, asking questions, why do you do it and whatnot. We'll just react instead of, thinking. And I just want to, add that to the conversation, and I'm complete.
Thank you so much, Adam. Because what you said too about the people that criticize and are judgmental are inside of some toxicity or dealing with some things that are there's some healing that would benefit them from engaging in, right? They're not that they don't know that, right? Blind spot. But that also calls for us to have compassion for them and not judge them, right? Have compassion, because that's me being critical and judgmental. And we all can be that, right? So having self-compassion and compassion for others. Thank you so much, Adam, for adding that.
You're welcome.
Yes, that was great. That was great. Oh, anything else before we move on? So sourcing joy is something to continue to explore for yourself. How do you source it? We also talked earlier about, being in nature, being near water. Laughing is a wonderful source for joy. You just feel better when you're laughing, So really continuing to look at ways to source joy. I talked about that book, Ask and It Will Be Given. Whoo! Life changing. And then radical collaboration. Are people familiar with this radical collaboration? We can get off screen. Let's see if anyone is familiar with this.
Can I have a go at that?
Sure, you can.
I have not heard of it, but as soon as you said it, I was like, oh my God, it resonated. You see how I'm up now, right? Like it really resonated inside my body, because what I hear is, joining my innate gifts and expertise with others' innate gifts and expertise to cause miraculous transformations in the spaces we land. So to just partner with power, with people, like you said, of light mind, to transform spaces. So like that makes me happy. That just lifted me right now when you said that. Radical collaboration.
You hit the nail on the head. Oh my God, yes. Co-creation with others who are like-minded, creating miracles from that co-creation. That's why being connected is so powerful, but being mindful of who you're connected to. That's it. This experience is a co-creation. What we're having right now is a co-creation, because it takes everything that we're discussing to a heightened level. And we can use that energy. Like this energy, I'm gonna carry with me for the rest of my day. And what a wonderful way. And that's why this community, it is a co-creation, this community, like-minded people, seekers, dreamers, innovators, right? Pooling our energy and resources together to live a joy-filled life. That's what's up.
I'd like to add to that. When you said radical collaboration, what it made me think about, it resonated for a couple of reasons, because I felt like it was something that was very, very layered. When you think of just the word radical, you think about radical experiences, or when you think about what someone may refer to as a radical person or a radical idea. 9 times out of 10, the spirit of that radical nature has to do with discomfort, right? So why would you call that, why is that so radical? Well, because it's uncomfortable for you for some reason. May not be radical to them, but I feel like the spirit of radical speaks to the level of discomfort that it may require in order to be radical. So even those that have been radical over the years, whether it's militia groups, civil rights, or even personally, individually with technology or innovation, you have to experience some sort of discomfort. And so when you combine the words radical collaboration, what it spoke to me was you're going to have to connect with people and with situations and supports that may not be comfortable, but the output of doing such a thing is so much greater. The benefit that you'll gain from these radical collaborations, collaborating with things and people that you might have never thought you would collaborate with, even if that's yourself. Because sometimes and I can speak for myself, I've gotten so disconnected from myself for so long, it felt almost radical to reconnect with myself.
Well,
so I appreciate you bringing that word into this space, because that's something that I'm going to think about.
What's up, Xavier? I miss you in the woo.
Likewise, my mother Teresa, as you was talking, I'm sorry, but yeah, Teresa, it's good to hear your voice as you was talking. I was like, look at Mama Teresa.
Yes. Wow, that was
I like your upgrade. I like your upgrade in the background, Teresa. I saw you wanted to show everybody that you know a thing or two about computers. So I appreciate that.
And what a company
Valerie,
that I work that we have.
if I can add, when I think about it and when I'm thinking, the more everybody's speaking, I'm thinking about different perspectives from different walks of life. That's what creates with like-minded people that have the same goal in mind, but just different perspectives, which allows so much more growth because everybody could connect with somebody.
Exactly. Exactly. And this radical collaboration, it kind of stems from design thinking. That's something to research, design thinking. And I wanted to share another amazing book that I read that I'm going to read again, called Designing Your Life: How to Build a Well-Lived, Joyful Life. Amazing book, speaks to a lot around careers, but also just speaks to your life and how to create a joy-driven life. Joyful life. Yes. This is
Can you
another
repeat that again? I'm so sorry. Designing Your Life by who?
Sure. Designing Your Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. Designing Your Life: How to Build a Well-Lived, Joyful Life by Bill Burnett and Dave Evans. Excellent. As someone who does, as I mentioned, I'm a career healer, is what I call myself, and provide career empowerment services to women in the 50+ age range. This book I've used as a real resource. Excellent. Okay, yes. So radical collaboration. Any last comments on that before we move on? And thank you, Xavier and Omena and Rachel and Teresa, for your recent shares and for all those who've shared during this time. Breathe. Yep. So.
Hi,
Mhm.
this is Amelia. I just wanted to share and just really thank everyone for this conversation. When I'm in that space of like questioning and doubt, I come to Woo, and just knowing that everybody is just sharing their authentic experiences allows me to just have my own therapeutic experience. So just thank everyone for that. In radical collaboration, when I think about that, for me, it reminds me that it's only in these radical collaborations that transformation can occur. Even the experience of Woo, I feel like, was just radical collaboration, where all these different people bringing their different gifts and talents and ideas and just who they are, and it creates this therapeutic environment that allows transformation to occur.
Thank you so much.
It's beautiful, Amelia. Great for pointing that out. We came together during a time of turmoil and confusion at the top of COVID and brought all of our gifts together to create this community. And we're still here. So thank you for pointing that out. That was very radical of this community.
Yes. The gift of this community. It's powerful. All
All
right.
right, I think we're good with the shares. Do you want to go to the next slide?
I think there's still some on that slide.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Bring it back up is what I meant.
That's fine.
Gotcha.
So really, these are ongoing exploration. It's ongoing exploration for ourselves, how we create joy, sourcing it. We may find various ways to source it. We've talked about some: radical collaboration, connecting, collaborating, sourcing through the energy of community, and then reframing problems and mistakes. This is huge. The ability to reframe what you see as a problem or a mistake into something that becomes a lesson and a blessing and a gift, right? So we can start to share. I want to see if anyone wants to share about that. Reframing problems or mistakes into transforming them into gifts and triumphs. Can anybody speak to that?
I will. I always believe there's a blessing in the lesson, right? There's never, for me personally, I always grow from my experiences. I learn And in order for me to have grew, I would have to gone through those things. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at, is how I'm able to transform that is I don't consider a breakdown not a breakthrough.
Perfect. We grow through what we go through, is a quote I've heard. Perfect. No such a thing. Well, mistakes are, no such a thing as a real mistake, because there's something that you learned. If you can look to see what you learned and how you grew from it, then it's a blessing. Even if it might be painful, it's still a blessing, right? Does it minimize the pain or the hurt or the disappointment? It just says, okay, what did I get from this? How did I transform? What did I learn? All of that.
Well, how strong am I to get through it?
How's my resilience, which is a gift to acknowledge. And you know what? If we are all here present in this space, trust and believe we are all resilient. How about that? To go through what we've gone through over our lives, because some of the things that we've gone through have been what we've experienced personally or in our own personal lives. Some of it is what others have experienced. We, in this pandemic, have experienced a magnitude of loss. Remember in the beginning when we were getting the numbers of the people who died? That still stays with us too. This trauma that we've experienced, it's still with us, laid on top of childhood stuff. So that's why we want to source joy from these communities, these therapeutic communities that we have right up in here. Coaching, therapy, a great friend who's a great listener. We want to make sure we have multiple ways to release the tension and the angst that we all experience, because we get triggered. We get triggered easily. I know I was in a restaurant and I heard like a big bang, something like a dish drop. I'm hold, because I loud noises. I don't know. It's just my nerves. So we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves. Reframing problems and mistakes. Learning from our experience, right? Knowing it's a process, right? How does that play out in terms of how we create joy? Knowing it's a process.
Doesn't last forever.
What doesn't last forever?
The feeling of whatever, like for me, when I go through something, I know that it's temporary in the moment. And even if it's not, I know that the feeling will eventually subside to be a little bit less than what I'm experiencing in the moment.
This too shall pass. That's really great. I'm feeling it now. I always like to, when I'm going through something, like even in this relationship that I'm transitioning, I know what it looks like to be on the other side of something. I know what that's like. Others have their hand raised.
All right, who else? Let's see.
I see Amena. I see
Let's
Teresa, and then Doreen.
Let's hear from Doreen first, then Omena and Teresa.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Doreen.
Hi. I think the part that clicked was that I have a memory of this joys. And it's kind of like get emotional right now, but it's having a memory of those joys and trying to get back to that place and be able to relive those again.
Doreen, what you said is so powerful, because we have memories. When I think about, you just got me to a memory. I just went to a memory, and I might start crying. When I think about going to Coney Island with my father and the red big old red thermos, it was a red top and a white bottom, a big old thermos, and we would pour like Kool-Aid or something in it, and we would go to the beach. That was such a joyful memory of my childhood. That just hit me when you said that. So these memories, the memory that I shared of the time of going, this was just the other day, going to Central Park and putting my feet in the grass and my hands in the air. If you send me a friend request on Facebook, you'll see the picture. It's beautiful. The memories, thank you. Because we can relive those memories to source joy.
Yeah, but I think too with that is also, I think a memory that I haven't had. It's like I know is better. I know there's better.
You can create it. And that's what creating is, honey. That's the power of creating. And creating is just saying the words. And we talked about how some of us, it's hard to say. We resist it because we don't think we're worthy. You're worthy. We don't think we're worthy. You're worthy. So some of it is just creating. How about this? I am creating a life that's joy-filled, where I am supported and loved and energized by the people and communities that I support myself with. I believe in abundance in every area of my life. And I have it that it shows up in the big and the small and the big things. An affirmation, creating an affirmation. Give yourself the gift of creating an affirmation. I have affirmations on my wall. One of them is I manifest everything that I want in my life. Another is I give up. I let go and I allow the divine. That's posted right here. I let go and I allow the divine. These are me surrounding myself with these messages that remind me of who I really am. It's inner, sourced. And I believe it because the universe is aligned with my well-being. All there is for me to do is to ask, it will be given, and then I move out of the way. I have no fear, I give up. I have one that says I let go of all fear in my life. All fear and concern, I let go. Oh. Others have their hand raised.
Yeah, let's take one more and then we'll jump back into the slide. So let's hear from Omena.
Oh my goodness, this is between what was just said and what Doreen shared and what you were just asking the question about the process of bringing in more joy. So I'll start there. I heard then when you said that, Omena, patience. Because sometimes I want the result to happen quicker than the process. So that it takes to get there. And sometimes it does come quick. Sometimes it's just like a matter of like, okay, I switch, the intention is this is what it is, and it unfolds. But I like living in that space more often than I do the patience and the grace I need to give myself to get there with the reframe. Because I look at things like when it's not working, I find that I'm fully immersed in that. But with what was just said about the memory, and I know this because your cells do hold memory. Even when I was talking about eating for supreme wellness, like you can't talk about foods until you get to the memories, the trauma triggers, those things that cause you to make the decisions around the food you're eating. And so for the memory to be brought back up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just sat here and had an epiphany that I've been so reactionary because of how the different memories that have played out in my survival, like, you know, doing things even in my household because I felt like I needed to survive. You know what I mean? Like it was a defense mechanisms that would come up because I had to survive. And so joy wasn't something that came easy in certain places. But then you just brought up the memory with your dad, and I'm like, well, it wasn't all that bad because I did have some joyous memories and experiences. So I am very appreciative of the shares. I'm learning to say, Omena, grace, pace it, be intentional. And like you said, how everything's unfolding, it will unfold, it's the intention. So that's going to be my reframe work, like being intentional about it. And then, like you said, trusting and letting it go, because that's another big one for me. Like, I got to be in it, because again, at home, growing up, when the household was dysfunctional, I had to put things in place and do things to make sure, like, you know, I held a certain level of peace and I stayed out the way.
Amen, amen, amen. And giving up the impatience. You said it all. And you know what, what you just mentioned about when you were growing up, that was your role, was to ensure that things were in place, a certain level of control, being in control. And we recognize that there are some skills that we have that 95% of the time work and 5% don't. And we have to know when they work and when they don't. But your self-awareness is so high, which is really the goal for all of us. Heightened self-awareness, then paying attention, and then following. That's the work. So thank you, Amanda. I'm so happy you shared. Oh, we have so much to say, so much to share, so much to give. I think we're gonna, I don't know if we have time to take one more person before we.
Where do you want to go, Coach? We got two
I
more
would
prompts
like-
on here.
Okay, you know what I'd like?
Mhm.
I'd like Xavier to share, because I know that Xavier had their hand. We're gonna pick a lot of this up. We're gonna pick up on Sunday, and then I want to, then I want to kind of move to completion.
Okay,
Right.
thank you. I will be back Sunday, God willing. But I actually wanted to add to what Omena was saying, the notion of the process. One of the misconceptions, I believe, through in prayer is that when we ask for something, I'll speak for me, I used to get upset when I didn't get specifically what I asked for, because I was missing the mysteries and wonders of the Supreme, his ways not our ways, and just mystery. So an example is, when you pray for something, he gives you the opportunity for it. So for example, I give two examples. One is when a kid is praying to make the game winning shot. Lord, please let me make the game winning shot. I used to think that was the dumbest thing ever. And then the kid has the opportunity to make the game winning shot and misses it. The kid is upset. I prayed for it to make the shot, and make it. But you had the opportunity, because it took us very specific events for you to even be in that position to make the game winning shot. If I pray for God to give me strength, Lord, give me strength to not hurt my coworkers at work today. It's not like he's gonna mysteriously place grace and niceness into people that are mean. It'll come in confusion and opportunities to face those things, and in that journey you become stronger in dealing with it. So when you get to work, yeah, they're going to be on you, they're going to make you mad, and they're going to do all those other things, because he's presenting you with the opportunity to get stronger. I only get stronger when I lift weights, and weights is just resistance. So if I don't feel the resistance, then I won't get stronger. And so I feel like the notion of asking for certain things and not getting it, as if it's this linear way where it only works one way, where I ask and it's given as is, as I said, it's not always like that. And so I just appreciate the aspect of the journey, because it's in the journey that we reap certain benefits.
I don't even know what to say behind that, except to say that was a blessing, what you just shared. Ask and it will be given, as in the opportunity for it to be presented, the opportunity for that thing to show up. It may show up exactly how we asked, and it may show up differently, but to be present to the process that we are going through at that time, to really tap into where is the gift. Because I might ask for a relationship, someone shows up. May or may not be who I asked for, but I got it. And what is the gift inside of that? There were so many ways to look at what you just said. I don't even know where to go with it. I think it's something for all of us to meditate on. I certainly will. That in our prayer, God's source presents us with the opportunity that may show up as exact or not, but it will show up. It will be given. All right, let me go to the last piece, because it's going to lead into part 2, self-love. Woo! We're going to take this on how you create joy through self-love, which we actually talked about here in many, many, many ways. We talked about being intentional to our own knowing of our space, who we're engaged, who are we connected to, who brings us joy, what brings us joy, what doesn't. Self-love, self-care, making ourselves the priority, right? And being intentional and mindful. Okay, so this, can someone read this? We're gonna close on this image, this quote. Can someone just take this on?
The difference between joy and happiness is that happiness depends on external factors. Joy, on the other hand, is more than emotion. It is an attitude. It's a choice, and it's a lens to see the world through.
Thank you. And we're going to come off this, you know what? And we talked about this, and we're going to continue to have this powerful conversation on Sunday at 7 a.m. And I can't wait. Thank you all for your amazing contributions, your support, your love, your engagement, your learning. It's made a difference for me, and I suspect it's made a difference for all of us. So thank you so much for all of this. And again, my special offer, everyone who emails me at valjlyons@gmail.com, you're going to get a manifestation tool that I created. And many of the practices that are on this tool, we actually talked about today. It's called Joyful Practices. You email me, I'm sending it to you. And it's something for you to, it's a dynamic and fluid tool that you can add to. And if you contribute and add to it, please email me and tell me what you added, because I want to add that to this document. It's a fluid list of practices. So thank you so much. And here's my contact information. So you can friend me, send me a friend request on Facebook, Valerie Lyons. You can find me on Instagram at ValJLyons. I have a Linktree account, which has all of my links. And then I have my website, www.valeriejlyonsenterprises.com. And you can also send me a message there. And again, that's my email address, valjlyons@gmail.com. Feel free to stay in touch. We're all family. And you have an opportunity to contribute with love offerings and donations via Zelle or QuickPay at soulleadershipdevelopment@gmail, or via Cash App at the hashtag is the $Spirit of a Woman, using the code hashtag 650VL. You know, these donations are for the support that is provided in giving these amazing presentations on the back end and the front end. So feel free to contribute if you can, financially, because your contribution is clear.
All right, thank you, Val.
Sure.
So like Valerie said, monthly contributions are also welcomed. So if you want to make sure that you are constantly contributing to the community, you can sign up for one of these bit.lys by clicking on the link, and be mindful that the day that you start the submission, it will take it out each month after that. So if you do it today, it'll take it out on the 11th of every month from your card, and you're just sewing into the community effortlessly without having to think about it. I like to think of it as paying your tithes, so that you are pouring into the community, pouring into the facilitators who are sharing their time and resources and experiences with us all on these early mornings, and making sure that we are full and we have healing. Go ahead, Valerie.
And as I mentioned, I'll be back on Sunday the 14th at 7 a.m. for Creating Your Joy-Driven Life Part 2. So I look forward to seeing all of you back here on Sunday.
Beautiful. All right, and we want all of the returners, all of the newbies to come back with us on Sunday and moving forward. So if you are new, thank you for joining us in this community where we come to learn, elevate, and ascend. Invite more of your family and your friends. And look at what happens. Omena, you invited your friend and she got a breakthrough this morning, right? So
Wonderful. So happy.
yes. So ask and you shall receive, ask and it is given. Also look at the resources that we dropped in the chat from Valerie and get what you need. All right. And so when you do come back, we're here on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 7 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Zoom, and Mondays and Wednesdays from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. Those are our shorter days. And you can also catch us live on Facebook and catch the replays there as well. And if you want to get text alerts, you're going to text 74121. All right, and don't forget to pick up some of your swag so you can represent WU in the community, who you are a part of, what you are a part of. So if you need a new notebook, we got you there. You'll never have too many masks. You have your tote bag, your laptop case, some coffee for the morning sessions, or some water to keep you cool because the sun is not playing this summer out here. So remind yourself to go pick up some swag from bit.ly/WU swag. And again, thank you so much for joining us this morning and every other morning you've been with us. You can register for next week by going to bit.ly Wake Up Movement. You could join us on Facebook as well. We have our private group and our public group where you can get the replays if you missed it. Instagram, we are at Wake Up Everybody Virtual. YouTube, you can catch some replays there as well. bit.ly/WU on YouTube. And please feel free to email us with any questions, comments, or concerns at info.wakeupseries@gmail.com. And if you're interested in joining the team, we are always welcoming new volunteers. If you want to be admin like us, making sure that the chat is smooth, bringing people in, working the slides, if you're masterful at that, we need you. If you are a facilitator, you love what Valerie did today, and you think that you could do the same, then please jump on in. We also have trainings for facilitators. If you want to get stronger and build that muscle, we got you. So we want you to put your talents to the test and bring them to this community. And you can send an email to info.wakeupseries@gmail.com and let us know you're interested. And so now I'm going to unmute everyone so that we can shower Valerie with our love, because today was just fruitful and we can't thank you enough for this. So I'm ready to start my day.
Yes.
Thank you, Valerie, for the great presentation
With
on
joy
Thank you
and
so much for allowing
happiness.
God to
Thank you,
use
thank
you.
you.
Let's move
Joy.
Podcast
I love y'all.
Energy,
CNN,
Morning.
MSNBC, Smooth,
Bless you.
Blue,
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
we will see you today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's move
Thank
forward,
you.
everybody.
Thank you so
What a
much for the blessings,
powerful
Valerie.
the breakthrough, presentation style is amazing. I've learned so much watching, even though I haven't been there long.
That's important.
Amazing
Thank
person, you're a
you.
light to this
Appreciate
world.
it.
So
Yeah,
much.
that's stay power from you. Don't
Thank
I'm gonna take that from you.
Stay true to
You
you,
love
yourself,
you.
be
Thank
you.
you.
looking forward to Sunday. Thank you. Thank you.
Love your sugar pies. Have a good day.
You too, honey. Thank you so
Y'all are my sunshine,
much. Made me cry.
my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are blue. You never know just how much I love you. So please don't take my sunshine away. Love y'all, babies.
Thank you, thank you.
Love you. Thank you. Thank you for the serenade, Teresa.
Yes. Yes. Love you. Love you. Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
All right, take us away, Z.